in the spring up in Cary, North Carolina in suburban Raleigh. Carolina will kick it off with Matt Fondy and Omar Bravo getting things started. And we are underway at Community First Park with two teams desperately seeking victories as the fall season continues to move towards its midway point. And the long ball played for Brian Shriver, who got a little shove. And it will be a goal kick for Jacksonville here in the opening moments. Brian Shriver, the leading goal scorer all time for Carolina. Spent a little bit of time with Fort Lauderdale, also with the Tampa Bay Rowdies, but he's fifth in the NASL in goals scored this year, and the only player to have played in every match this year for Carolina. So he is a guy they certainly rely on very heavily this season.
Yeah, and a player that can play multi-roles. He can play up top. He possibly would have played with Fondy up top if it wasn't for the sign of Omar Bravo. But he's playing on the left-hand side. Likes to get down the line, likes to get crosses in, big body. And as a weak side player, he likes to get inside the box as well for goals.
Ball played all the way back to Sean Lewis. We'll see how defensive the Armada set up here. We mentioned that 3-5-2 was really intended to create goal opportunities in Indy. But with the player selection with this formation, it plays a little differently than it did on Wednesday night, doesn't it?
He does, especially because he's playing. Coach Miller decided to play with Lucas Cagley and Kevon George as two holding midfield side by side. On Wednesday against Indy, Mishak Jerome was playing as the lone number 6 there with two attacking midfielders in front of him. So lines up a little bit differently.
One of the challenges the Armada have had on a couple of occasions when they've had their worst games has been poor passing in the midfield. It really cost them against Indy, cost them earlier in the year on a Wednesday night in New York against the Cosmos, so we'll keep an eye on that here in the early stages. Maripou plays it to Lucas Scaglia, one of the holdovers from last year and the only Argentinian player on the squad. Here's Scaglia playing it backwards to Beto Navarro. Now Tyler Ruthven, who wears the captain's armband today. Long ball played ahead for Charles Elandu. The speed of the young Cameroonian gets there and wins a corner kick for they're going to say goal kick. Elandu really thought it should have been a corner, and I tend to agree with him. We'll see if we can catch it on the replay, but nonetheless, it will be Akira Fitzgerald who will boot it away after the call by Nima Sagafi, the referee in this one.
Well, I like the original mentality here from Tyler Ruthven. You see Charles Elandu, he knows he's not a player that plays well with his back to the goal. But when he's in space, he's about as dangerous as any other Armada player. So get him early over the top and make this Carolina defenders, Daly especially, run towards his own goal.
Very different styles for the two forwards playing for the Armada today. Anderson, a guy who plays well with his back to the goal. Elandu wants to run.
And you need that. You need Anderson on the link-up play underneath and Charles Elandu making those penetrating runs behind the defenders.
Here's Fondy battling for it. Scaglia beats him to it and winds up back at the feet of Sean Lewis.
Bottom corner, that is a wondrous save by Lynn.
Back out here at Community First Park on a day that saw a lot of clouds in the area and a little bit of rain earlier.
Out what Ateba was looking to do.
Here's Fondy now on the edge of the box against his former team. Dribbles one in,
just tried to bend it
loose ball
inside that post, but it's a fingertip save from Lynn. That's magnificent stuff from the Mulder goalkeeper.
Between Met and Navarro, see Matt Fondy gets down the line, puts the ball back inside. So many numbers for the Real Hawks.
Stays at 1-0.
You see Omar Bravo inside the box.
Swinging corner into the danger area. One of these corners is going to lead to something. And Muzi! Whisker away. Lind was rooted to the spot for once. This would have been a thunderbolt of a goal. Sat up nicely. Muzi knew that would have been some goal. Lind just had to watch it and hope that it wasn't going to.
Not an emotional response from Scaglia, a more bemused look for number 16.
And you can see the fall there, call Maripou, just hold on a little bit.
Second half, it started like the first half.
His
went throughout
skin.
Nigeria,
and likes to
the
get
team
with
who looked more like scoring.
Early in the game. It's not a good thing when you're holding midfield and the referee have a good relationship in the game. I mean, he's always calling on your name, and the next time you do something, he's aware of who you are.
Ball played out wide. Now played ahead by Shipolani. Good ball to Bravo. Now he gets it to Drew Becky. Crosses in front. Fondy scores,
Still
and
have a
it's
chance.
Carolina on top.
That doesn't happen
Always
tonight.
in control of the
Goal of the
matches that
season
they
for Fondy,
won at that
all coming
championship.
with Carolina. Here's Alandu now,
hitting teams on the
trying
counter.
to create something down the wing. Got a little bump from Kareem Moses, and
Surprise
a
winners.
free kick for Jacksonville out wide of the box.
Yeah, it's a good
African
matchup there
nations
between Charles
under
Alando,
23
very
winners.
quick
That was
player
how
on
they
the edge.
qualified
Moses,
for the
a very
Olympics.
physical player, but once Charles Alando turns that corner, very difficult to stop him. Moses was forced to commit a foul there.
Going back to the point about Fondy, he really looked like a guy who felt snake bitten. He had opportunities in Jacksonville, just couldn't find the net.
Sincere.
And sometimes a change of scenery is really what's needed. And apparently that's exactly the story for Fondy now this year. Here's Maripu on the free kick. Outswinger. Anderson and Ruthven both rise for it. I think
There's a bit of
Ruthven got a head
confusion
on
here.
it. And
It's going to be pounced on by Sadiq Umar.
played out. It'll be a goal kick.
Squares it to
for
McCall.
Kira Fitzgerald. We talked about the Armada
Turn
playing
sets
from
up.
behind. They have not overcome a lead this year.
Boy, so
There's
it'll
a
be
view gate.
interesting here with a lot of game to be played, over 83 minutes to be played still. What kind of
Unselfish play
response
by the
will the Armada
Nigerians.
have? Will they buckle down?
They're
Will
happy
they,
to play that extra
will they
pass
get
and
back
help it
into
onto a
You
player in a
saw
better
Wednesday they were
position.
down 2-0. They got back into the game with a 2-1 goal.
Wonder whether
Going into
McCall needed
halftime,
a little
and
more
unfortunately
pace
gets scored
on that
right
ball,
before
and that would have
halftime.
helped. As
So
a
they
VK
gotta give it,
out,
to keep
a
it
lot of
together,
room or
knowing that the
space
game
for
of
the
soccer,
shot on
there's
that
a lot of
occasion.
minutes left here, and anything can happen from 1 minute to the other.
There's Paul Black coming forward.
VK who plays his football in
Over
Turkey.
Atlanta.
So he has been linked with moves to some of the really big European sides. The way
Now
Nigeria are
Weeman, a
playing
giveaway
here at
in
the
the
Olympics.
attacking end.
Too long
Duluth
before someone
leaves it off.
does snap
a
up the
blast turned
19-year-old.
aside by Sean Lewis.
Ball over the
who makes
top.
a big
Right,
save for
a bit of
Jacksonville, but
confusion at
another
the back for
errant
Nigeria,
pass
but
in the
Daniel got there
wrong
just
end of the field for
in the nick of
Jacksonville.
time.
Yeah, those costly turnovers, especially in your final third. Sometimes they're a little bit better just releasing the ball. Carl Weemat trying to make a pass within a lot of traffic.
Shihu.
And Duluth picks it up and gets a great shot. And good thing for Sean
Space
Lewis.
in front of him, so
good
he's
place,
gonna
good
move
timing,
into it.
push the ball away.
Ezekiel.
Here's the corner.
Mohamed.
Played back. Fondy in with a head. And it's
All their
grabbed out in
transport
midair
issues
by
before they
Sean
got
Lewis.
hit.
Fondy has
Many
scored on a
had written
corner
them off.
earlier this year. Both of his previous goals have
arrived
been one from a corner, one from a set
7
piece for
hours
Carolina. The goal scored
before their
earlier in this
kickoff.
match, the first in the run of play
Against
for
Japan
Fondy
in
in any
Manaus. They
team
spent
in the
the
NASL
best part
regular
of a
season.
week in
Well,
Atlanta.
Fondy came here with Armada early in the spring season as
of
someone
issues
that
with their
people
flights.
expect him to score a lot of goals. It's a lot of pressure on a player that may not
thought they would have
be
been
ready for it.
underprepared, but
that may
they
not be
are
his
up for this tournament, no doubt about
When
that,
you get players
Nigeria.
like Omar,
They're
Bravo
enjoying
around
themselves here in Manaus.
you get players like Fitzgerald around,
second
like
time in 3
Matrava
nights.
around him, Shipolani around him, players that can score the goal. All of a sudden, every time that Matt Fondy scores a goal, it's an extra bonus, but he's not the guy asked to score all the goals, which was the case here with the Armada uniform.
Well, it was certainly the case
He's
last year in
probably been
Louisville,
Sweden's best player.
and he succeeded in that. His best year as a pro.
them in
He
the
was
match,
the
that's for
Golden
sure.
Boot and Golden Ball winner in the USL with Louisville.
Yeah, I'm not
Clearly.
sure going into Louisville the expectations were as such. Maybe he just rose to
Tippling.
that occasion, where now expectations were set, and he goes into Carolina Royalhawks team that.
Turned by Quaison.
Obviously, they would love to see him score goals like he's doing today, like he did
certainly
previously in the fall.
moved
But
towards the
they're really
center of the
expecting
field.
goals to get created by
He's out on the
Shipolani,
right-hand
by
side of
Shriver,
the,
and by some
in the
players
first
that aren't
half.
even on the lineup.
And Nazmi Al-Badawi, a guy with 6 assists this year,
To get himself
one
more
of the
involved
best
in the game.
setup men in the league. He's tied for the league lead in assists, but has
Milosevic.
missed the last 3 games with injury.
Kalili.
But what a great luxury for you to have players.
Fist has got
as I
himself
just
forward
named,
here. Can he
plus a player that's
find
not
room
even on
for
the
a
field, and all of a
cross?
sudden you add Matt Fondy that can contribute
Away
as
past
well.
Atebo, who
That's a good situation. It's a good problem
defensive
for Coach
duties.
Clark to have.
Carolina working with a lead here. 1-0 after the Matt Fondy goal in the 6th minute.
Fist
Jacksonville
knows that he's
had a
offside.
couple of early chances, but Carolina able to convert on the opportunity through Fondy. Now here's Weeman
football
trying to
with
scoop it out
Elfsborg.
on a clearance. Tried to get it
4
out
in the
to
starting
Alex
lineup.
Anderson. He couldn't control it.
Plays football in his homeland.
Now finally kicked out by Weeman.
And Carl Weeman is a player that once he came to the Armada from the Red Bulls as a loanee, got into the lineup right away in a 4-4-2, playing next to Tyler Ruffin, doing an extremely good job, almost quiet where he didn't make any
Direct
mistakes,
nature.
didn't make any big plays.
Sweden's
And
play.
really the last 2 games, including today in the first goal and in that opportunity and that missed pass, is where he's gotten a little bit exposed in that 3-5-2. So I'm not 100% sure how comfortable he's playing in a 3-5-2 just yet.
Pacing up and down is.
Take a look at Kevon George back in the starting lineup after
for a substitute.
being left out of the starting 11 the last several games.
And Sema.
Kevon will have a chance to play across the parking lot at Everbank Field when
by trade.
the Trinidad and Tobago national team, on which he has played quite a few times, comes in for
we're going to see our first
their
card
friendly,
here
or their World Cup qualifier rather, against the United States.
Yeah, and you would imagine him as a Jacksonville player, he would get invited into that game, whether he plays high minutes or not. But Kevon's a player that's played a lot of important minutes for Trinidad and Tobago team.
This is the Swedish right back.
There's Brian Schreiber.
Who gets it.
Watch Moses coming up here.
Through the back
post, and Lewis let it go through. Goal kick Jacksonville.
Yeah, not the best opportunity from Brian Schreiber. He's really looking for those big center backs coming forward. And Moses and Dali
again, plenty
as well. Obviously, Afan is strong in the air.
And swing it towards the far post.
The early goal by Fondi affects the way Jacksonville approaches things. Here's Maripu, a little heavy on the touch, and now a whistle. And free kick coming for Jacksonville as Alandu was pulled down. For a moment, it appeared that Nima Sagafi, the referee, was going to wait to see if there was an advantage to be played. Instead, blows the whistle, and now Jacksonville has a shot. What would be in the Jerome zone, unfortunately, Mishak Jerome is not on the pitch right now.
And how they play that play is perfect. They get the ball high early to Anderson. Little drop down to Maripu.
He's allowed to control it with his feet, turns and fires into the side netting.
Charles Alando, even though he wasn't even part of the play just yet.
On the far side, thought that one may well have been in.
See if he goes on goal with this one or tries to play it into a runner.
Lind had it covered.
High floater. Fitzgerald there. Played it rather easily. Thought about trying to trigger a counter in a hurry, but nothing developed for him.
Even though Fitzgerald's not the tallest of keepers, he's good enough in the air to come out. You got to get the ball out of his range and trying to get one of your center back that's coming forward. Especially Tyler Roof is so strong in the air. Maripu's got to give his Armada teammates an opportunity to challenge for that ball.
Work out wide. Now Scanglia to Maripu in the midfield.
Discussion with his father.
Swede slides one to the right for Brian Burke. Burke looking to go around Paul Black. Centers one in. Header Alandu. He connected with Fitzgerald, not the ball.
Sweden make their first substitution.
Fitzgerald able to come away with the save.
What a great cross from Brian Burke here. He gets a player 1v1. Charles Alando very clean, but challenges Fitzgerald, and Fitzgerald holds on to the ball. But a good look from Brian Burke there, getting forward and getting that early cross into the box.
That was what he was really known as last year in Louisville. A lot of his assists, of course, went to Matt Fondi on plays like that.
Norway last season.
When you can see Anderson, ideally you want Anderson to be the player that's challenged for the ball. But you can see Anderson as a player likes to get involved in a build-up. He likes to load a layoff so the ball gets penetrated. And you really need that second forward, which in this case is Charles Alando getting at the end of it.
Here's Fondi working hard, trying to get around Ouimet. Fondi slides one through, nobody making the run, and Lewis able to come over and grab it for Jacksonville. 15 minutes in, the Armada down a goal, watching their former teammate Matt Fondi exact a measure of revenge against them. Here's Anthony Wallace, St. Petersburg native. All banged around. Cipollone tracks it down for Carolina. The Armada really pressing here. Being very aggressive, trying to have the opportunity at an equalizer. Fondi sandwiched in between Ruthven and Kevon George, and Fondi goes down.
Yeah, and those costly turnovers that you're talking about with Anthony Wallace trying to get forward, really the first time that anything gets forward, and trying to connect between Charles Alando, as you see Matt Fondi there, get a nice little wreck from Tyler Rufen pushing him into Kevon George. But Charles Alando, either he's got to figure out he's an in-behind player, he's a build-up player, that little in-between indecision is really what causes those turnovers between the players trying to feed him the ball.
One of the other young and exciting players for the Armada, Danny Barrow, admitted to me last week that inexperience has cost him a couple of times. Here's Cipollone now, stepping into the box, centering past Fondi again. Then it just wide.
Have the ball back. A little scrappy.
And Matt Fondi continues to find himself in good positions in the midfield.
Isolated though on this near side, and in fact he was offside.
Creator he is. He gets on Tyler Ruffin's wrong side there. You see Tyler trying to recover back. And Matt Fondi just doesn't get enough on the ball.
That close to a second goal against Jacksonville.
Well, and that's what we saw a lot of Matt when he was here. You know, how many opportunities did we call, Cole, that Matt had right there on the PK spot on top of the 6 and just didn't connect on it? No defenders on him. That's a player that a true goal scorer has to put away, or at least put it on frame, so Sean Lewis has to make a save on it.
Your point about whether he should be considered a true goal scorer or a guy who can just score goals. His work rate is tremendous here in Jacksonville, continues to be in Carolina. His fitness and his effort is there. It was the finishing that was really the issue. And I think it's fair to say it got in his head a little bit.
He did, and the confidence
in
the team
through to Lundqvist, who's got in behind Nigeria. Now is that a foul?
The team relies on scoring goals, and when he gets opportunities like he just did, and the ball sails away, sails out wide over the top, as we saw often, oftentimes again, you see him pressing the ball. His effort was never an issue. Good defensively, good tactically, he knows where to be, but he never got those enough final passes inside the box, enough services to create anything.
Scaglia laying out wide to Wallace. Lost it, tried to get it back, battling along the side with Stephen Miller.
How long it'll be before Samson
Sai maybe gets to Scaglia gets in front of it.
On.
Not sure if that was intended for by Scaglia to be an interception or what, but he was able to disrupt there for a moment. Talked about effort and a motor that's always running. That's Lucas Scaglia for Jacksonville.
Yeah, absolutely. He never stops. It seems like he's playing a holding mid, but all of a sudden you see him on top of the box, penetrating, making a final run. Scored a couple goals last year with that late run, or creates enough chances. Definitely a player that Coach Miller likes being on the field and likes being healthy.
Fist knew exactly what he was trying to do there.
See the bench over there for Jacksonville, and kind of reflects the state of things right now. Guys waiting for something to get excited about.
The thing, isn't it, really, for Sweden?
There, Pascal Millian, Jamal Johnson.
Just the one goal advantage for Nigeria, despite their dominance.
With the injury prone that the team seems to have had. You don't see Junior Sandoval there, you don't see Jason Plumhoff. Players that are on sideline. Matt Boehner sidelined by injury right now.
Long ball played cross field for Brian Burke. Now played back to Carl Ouimet for Jacksonville.
Sema.
And here's what I like to see Carl Ouimet playing a little more direct right there, playing those players in a high position.
Another thing that's been so
Scaglia plays it out wide now for Brian Burke.
Nigerian players, their front
Burke looking to set things up. Scaglia on the underlap. Centers one in. Near post. It got through and it goes in. Charles Alondu's first professional goal. And the Armada have leveled things in the 19th minute.
And it's great to see them get the ball into an attack there. Just as I was talking about, they cause a lot of turnovers underneath, but get the ball up high. Get the ball out wide, get some crosses in, and quick little Alondo just flicks it over with the tip of his toe. Fitzgerald thought he had it. Alondo had it a little bit quicker, and the ball goes in. It's a good reaction from the Armada.
What a move by Alondo. Had his foot up about head high to make that little tip in. And if you were going to handicap the style of goal that Charles Alondo would score as his first professional goal.
Help forward. Tricky ball. Daniel, though, alert to the danger.
Saturation as a player. Typically, a young player is expecting and waiting for the ball inside the box. Charles Alondo makes that near post run. He's the highest forward to get into the box. The ball goes out wide. We just talked about Lucas Scaglia making runs, creating opportunities. He's a holding midfield, crossing the ball on the end line. That goes to his work rate and his engine.
Scaglia got all the way down. A little more direct style. Scaglia gets pulled down here, and a little bit of a delayed whistle.
Good friends there, Scaglia and the referee.
Yeah, Scaglia and Nima Sagafi discussing exchanging addresses for Christmas cards in the offseason.
I don't think Scaglia sends in Christmas cards to her. He's not on anyone's nice list.
So it's even at a goal apiece. The Armada trying for the first time this year to overcome a deficit. They've not done that all season long, but they've leveled things at a goal apiece here in the opening 20 minutes. We thought this might be a rather low-scoring game, considering both teams have been struggling a bit and that the Armada were going to play a more defensive-oriented lineup, but a goal for each side in the opening 20 minutes.
No, and it's good, and I think hopefully the Armada will recognize that their opportunities are coming when they're getting the ball into Anderson and into Alondo early and not really playing with it too much in the back.
Long ball played over the top, chased down by Anderson. Now to Alondo. Can he get his second goal in a matter of minutes? Charles Alondo on the run into the box. Left-footed diving stop made by Akira Fitzgerald.
And you can see what confidence does to a player. Probably had a pass there to Maripu, but we've seen Charles Orlando inside the box or right around the box. He likes that 1v1 opportunity.
Tried to get it to Fondy over his head and easily collected by Sean Lewis for Jacksonville.
And once again, that play, that opportunity from Orlando started with the ball a little over the top to Anderson. Hold up play.
Here's Orlando again. He's been very active here in the opening portion of the first half. Burke now on the run, looking for some space, tries to center it in. Maripu didn't field it cleanly off his foot. It'll be cleared out of the throw-in coming for Jacksonville, but the Armada creating opportunities down that right side.
Boy, with the weight of that pass, I think that ball was intended for Anderson. Maripu just intercepted a little bit.
Now here's Burke, again a centering pass, sent away by Moses, kept in by Jacksonville. Here's Burke, he's got Scaglia on his right, feeds it to Scaglia. Now to Maripu, back to Burke, those three in a tight area, swung into the box, header, went over the head of Anthony Wallace, and then Anderson came in to clean it up and nearly got it in the upper 90.
Boy, and Anderson would have loved to connect on that with the back of the net. Good contact on it once again. Good inner exchange between Maripu, Scaglia, and Burke on the right-hand side. Another cross from Brian Burke getting into the box. You got to keep feeding the beast while it's working right now. Good reaction from the Armada, and they're on the front foot here in the middle of the first half.
Interesting, all last year with Guillermo Hoyos as the head coach of the Armada, they used Scaglia as the holding midfielder, the defensive-minded midfielder. Here, he's been freed up a bit to go forward and express himself a little bit more on the attack, and it seems to be really suiting his style.
Well, especially when you have another player that can hold on, defensively hold on to things like Kevon George. Kevon is not a player that gets forward too much. So allows Scaglia to play a little bit of both, because he still comes back in defense quite often, protects that back line. Good tackle of the ball, good timing, good takeaway. But when the ball gets forward, he's got that freedom to join Maripu.
Maripu as the attacking mid. Kevon George really settling in as that true number 6, the holding mid. Speaking of Guillermo Hoyos, he was just recently named as the head coach of the Bolivian national team. So we went from the Armada to another club team in Bolivia to head coach of the Bolivian national team.
Yeah, one thing that we saw from Hoyos last year is his ability to coach. I think his shortcomings came on the language barrier a little bit, on the style of the NSL. So, as an Argentinian being back in South America with the Bolivian national team, might have some good opportunities to do some great things for him.
Not necessarily high expectations in Bolivia compared to some of the other South American countries.
I think within Bolivia, they have their own expectations, and having a coach that coached inside their league probably makes sense a whole lot. A player with, coach with the pedigree that Bochillos had, that Guillermo Hoyos had. Bochi being his son that played for the Armada last year as well.
Here's Akira Fitzgerald with a boot forward. Long ball headed away by Beto Navarro. It'll be a throw for Carolina.
And it's the key there between Carl Weedman, Beto Navarro, and Tyler Ruffin. Make sure that they stay connected. They don't chase the game.
Here's Miller sliding one through. Bravo couldn't get to it. Fondy does. Blocked by Beto Navarro out front. Now settled in. Carolina maintaining possession. Swung out wide now to T. Shipolani. Tried to get into the box. Kicked away by Tyler Ruthven. Out to midfield. Ilandu loses the header battle. And it's collected now by Stephen Miller for Carolina. Miller and had the ball tackled away by Kevon George. And I believe Kevon may be called, I'm going to say, a throw in or a free kick here. Oh, now they're going to the pocket, and a yellow card has just been pulled on Kevon George. Very delayed, for sure, by Neema Sagafi, but a yellow card pulled on Kevon George.
Yeah, and a strong tackle, but until we see the replay, it looked like from our view here, there was a lot of ball. If Kevon gets nice and low, and we'll see here on the replay, Kevon times and doesn't really have anywhere to go, but that's a lot of ball there, Cole. Really no contact with the player. Referee was right on top of it. Justifiable. Coach Miola is not happy that he's holding mid. He's on a yellow card now for really no reason whatsoever.
Hardly any player-on-player contact there at all.
No, great tackle. See no reaction from the sideline. Just a good, solid tackle from an aggressive player. Not even a foul. That should have been a throw-in.
So Shipolani to swing it in. Scaglia, as you might expect, having a conversation with Neema Sagafi all the while. Scaglia keeps stepping aside of the line. Tony Miola trying to make a point on the sideline. Scaglia, a one-man wall. Cipollani swings one in to the box, headed away by Jacksonville's defense. And again by Elandu, who's able to head it back out to the midway line. Kept in by Carolina. Out wide Fondi. Watched by Kevon George. Fondi backs it up. Now Paul Black. And kicked away by Ouimet. It stays in right in front of Squid Vicious. It'll be a corner kick for Carolina. Kraken had the best view of that one. Side rule for
Fondi just bought his Kevon off to play and earns himself a corner kick.
As Brian Shriver to send the corner in for Carolina. High to the back post. Fondi comes in, headed out by Jacksonville, and now cleared out to midfield. Elandu continuing to work back there. He's the lone player who stayed out on the periphery during that corner kick. Now sent in lazily. The red basket of Sean Lewis.
Yeah, Charles Elandu's really not going to be a defensive player on the corner kick there, but with his speed, Sean Lewis, if he catches the ball or one of the players can get on him on a counterattack right away.
See the frustration on Tony Miola's face. Actually still stemming from that yellow card pulled on Kevon George.
Yeah, well, you know, and you don't want the referee to tell your players all the time to not allow the referee's decisions to change it, and you got to carry on. But decisions like that do change the game. Good takeaway from Maripool there.
Played ahead. Anderson on the run. Won't get there first. Goal kick coming for Carolina.
Well, you can see why Anderson wants the ball to his feet. He doesn't have speed. He's not going to take any player on. So the ball's got to be to his feet so he can link up. He's technically very good with his back to the goal. And then he wants to get a second pass to feet so he can put it away, as we saw on that earlier cross that he almost connected inside the net.
You talk about how that yellow card can change the game. It may not, but it does take a little bit of the aggressiveness out of Kevon George now for the next 65 minutes.
Well, no, Kevon, arguably, he's a defensive midfield player, but especially in a 3-5-2, he's playing as an extra defender right in front of the box. So if there's an opportunity where Kevon has to pull a jersey, hold a player down, or have a purposeful foul, now all of a sudden he can't do it.
Here's Wallace trying to get by Stephen Miller into the box. Miller able to get there first and clear it out, but kept in by Kevon George. Little two-tap. Sent it forward now for Carolina. George able to keep it in for Jacksonville. Elandu looking for some space into the box. Elandu put it on the ground and wide in search of his second goal of the first half.
And I think the game plan has to be exactly that. Get the ball to Charles Elandu, to Anderson, high up the field. Get a little bit more direct into them. You don't have to take over the ball. Play with the ball so much in the center of midfield. Get those two guys involved early. Charles Elandu, you can see here time and time again, so dangerous going against this Railhawks back line.
1-1 here in the 30th minute. Jacksonville and Carolina. This one sent ahead by Akira Fitzgerald, and Stephen Miller will start to build it from the back for the Railhawks. Well, has Scaglia been a major player for Jacksonville here in the opening half hour?
Yeah, I think Coach Miller is going to like that relationship between Scaglia and Kevon George, especially on the build-up. Kevon has been a little bit of a turnover machine, as you can see there. He's not the cleanest of some of his passes as of late.
Here's Maripool coming in with lively legs. Tries to send it ahead for Elandu. Moses got back to it in time, though, for Carolina to thwart another Elandu run. Now Anderson puts a hip into Stephen Miller. Miller goes down. And the card will stay in the pocket of Nemus Agafi. Miller on the restart. Have you seen a change in temperament or approach from either of these sides after the early goals?
I think after the Carolina goal, Armada definitely stepped up their game a little bit and started playing a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more direct in order to get the two forwards involved. But Carolina is just okay with the result right now. A tie for them on the road. They're going to take their time. But it seems like their Armada have found themselves, their identity a little bit more. Getting some early services and getting the ball into Charles Elandu.
Here is Elandu losing it. Miller's got it, and all the way back to Akira Fitzgerald.
And so Charles Elandu he's got to continue to mature. You know, he got excited. He got a good early goal. He had one good early play after that. But he's really got to get his teammates involved in the game. He's doing a good job of holding up to the ball, but then he's got to find a second pass.
Now here's Elandu. From distance this time. Lifted it well over the bar.
Once again, Lucas Sigue getting past the line of Brian Burke, getting a little bit off the ball, fed to him, back into the box, and just good activity from Anderson and Elandu. They're not in each other's spaces right now, so if Anderson makes a near post run, Elandu's finding the ball and vice versa.
Well, certainly one of the guys who has made a difference for the Armada today, Brian Burke, he's been very active, and the guy he knows very well, Matt Fondy, also making a difference on his end. We'll take a moment for a water break here. Amanda Borges is on the sidelines for us. And Amanda, these two guys certainly know a thing or two about one another.
That's right, Cole. You were talking about this earlier. Brian Burke and Matt Fondy are reunited tonight. We've seen a lot of Fondy tonight, and even though he plays for Carolina now, he and Burke have a very close relationship. They played together in Louisville and also for the LA Blues in California. And off the field, they were roommates. And then once they got to the NASL, there were big expectations for both of them.
In fact, they were roommates here in Jacksonville, Amanda. And so some sort of confusion about the water break. And Nima Sagafi has just pulled a yellow card on one of the Carolina players. I'm not sure what happened there, Mauricio. Did you have eyes on that?
I think it was Austin DeLuz, and he was talking to the referee on the way out to the water break, either complaining that there's really no need for a water break right now. It's lovely weather. The entire field's covered with shade. So I'm not sure if he's complaining of the fact. He's talking to both captains. You know, if he was mandated to take a water break before, he has to. But it seems like there's a little bit of discussion on why we're taking a water break. You know, 32 minutes into the first half. Typically, a water break comes at the middle of each half. So I'm not really sure that either team really feels like there's a need for it right now.
Well, you know, whether either team or either groups of players deemed that they needed, I will say this: we have, you know, we were told before the game that at the 30-minute mark and at the 75-minute mark, we would have a water break.
Yeah, and he's got to identify, and players maybe they don't know that going into it, and Austin DeLuz as the current captain, you know, Omar Bravo is the captain of the team, but Austin DeLuz feels like he had an opportunity to talk to the referee and certainly voice his opinion. You can see referee walking away from Austin, and then all of a sudden he brings it back and gives him a yellow card. One thing this referee is not shy of is controlling the game with, you know, by using the yellow card. Sometimes a little bit too much, but the players have to know that, and they have to understand what kind of style he is.
Long ball played over the top. Bravo on the run. Navarro got back there, able to shield Bravo with his body, and it'll be a goal kick for Sean Lewis.
Tell you what, Omar for Deportivo La Coruña in La Liga, and he's a player that can still run. He's playing that high position. He's taking care of himself really well, and on that run there you can see his quickness. Great look on Matt Fondy's first goal. Very smart player.
He's played in MLS, played with Sporting KC. He was the MLS Latin Player of the Year back in 2011 when he was just a young buck, 31. And here he is 5 years later, still playing at a high level. Mirapu over the top for Scaglia. Moses able to clear it out. It'll be a corner kick coming for Jacksonville.
And I'll tell you what, if Moses doesn't connect with that ball, Scaglia either holds him off and earns a PK or puts it away on Fitzgerald. He was right inside the 6-yard line.
Scaglia seems to make a difference every time he comes forward.
Yeah, he really does. He knows how to make that late run into the box, which is so tough to teach a center midfield player, which is really he's playing that number 8 role in between the attacking mid and the defensive mid.
Mirapu on the corner. Outswinger of the right foot. Elandu didn't get it cleanly. Goes all the way back. Tracked down by Scaglia for Jacksonville. Now George trying to play a long diagonal. We met on the run. You had a midfielder playing it forward to a center back that time.
Yeah, it was a good ball from George. We met just has to go and challenge that ball in the air. Really easy for Miller to just hit it back to Fitzgerald. Good look. You don't want to play the ball. You don't want to play around with the ball back there with your Kevon George. You're the last guy. Good diagonal ball into the box, but you got to get someone going up and challenging for that ball, putting it back into the mix.
Well, both teams have created some opportunities here, and you mentioned this is a part of the season in the fall season, as most teams have played 6 or 7 games so far out of what will be a 22 match fall season. So about a third of the way in, and teams are starting to get a little bit of a better understanding of how important each match really is as far as their run to the postseason.
When you start looking at the standings, is really the separation time comes now in the first third of the season. Some of the teams at the top are just continue to pile up wins. The teams at the bottom just keep beating each other up a little bit.
Here's Kevon George, now to Maripu. Being banged around by Michael Daly. Maripu lost control there. Trickles back to the feet of Paul Black.
And he's asking for that foul there, and he had Brian Burke wide open on the right-hand side, looking for more runs down the box for crosses. He doesn't get the pull that he was asking on the jersey. And a
poor pass by Moses has the Armada on the counter. Here is Anderson. Pinwheeling, finally gets it to Kevon George. Slow developing counter opportunity here. Out wide for Anthony Wallace. Bravo coming back on him. Corner kick coming for Jacksonville.
You can see once again Omar Bravo coming back and defending. Good ball from Kevon to Anthony Wallace, looking for that early cross. And Omar Bravo, one of the forwards for the Carolina Roadhawks, coming back and defending Armada left winger, left back.
And Nazmi Al-Badawi usually wears the captain's armband, but with him injured, you can see Bravo with the veteran approach. And not only that, I mean, you look at his body of work, it would indicate that he might be a good candidate to wear the armband, but the way he's playing,
absolutely,
he's living up to it. Maripu now with the corner again for Jacksonville. Swings it in. And Akira Fitzgerald at the top of his 6-yard box, able to collect it.
Yeah, and Maripu just really hasn't found his groove with some of the set pieces and in corner kicks. Not many of them have been in dangerous areas. Junior Sandoval typically takes some of them as well.
Ball slid out wide. Here's DeLuz trying to play it in, and it goes errant over the top. And a goal kick for Sean Lewis coming up. Final 7 minutes of regulation time in the first half. We should have a little bit of stoppage time added on.
A bit of a deflated Carolina Roadhawks, not really doing much with the ball. A lot of lost sloppiness in their possession. Both teams have really turned over the ball in some unnecessary areas. Not a whole lot of pressure building from the back. So far, neither team has been able to capitalize on each other's mistakes.
Here's Lewis. Send it ahead. Anderson the target. Second ball won by Carolina by DeLuz. Doesn't do much with it. Ruthven sends it back toward the middle of the pack. Finally controlled by Fondy. Now Austin DeLuz swings a left-footed pass ahead. Shriver into the box, faced up by Ouimet. And a corner kick coming for Carolina.
What a lovely ball from DeLuz over to Shriver. Really been quiet, Shriver, in the game. Much better defensive responsibility from Ouimet to see him recovering back to defend a corner kick.
Kicked out by Wallace, but not cleanly. Carolina will send it back into the box, and Lewis came off his line to grab one right off the forehead of Matt Fondy.
And his teammates better be glad that he did, because Matt Fondy was coming in the back post unmarked, and if it wasn't for Sean Lewis flying out there and raising up his hands. 2-time save, but I'm glad that he's come out.
Lewis will try to target Ilandu ahead. Scaglia. And Ilandu whistled for the foul. I will say this, Ilandu has shown in his time he is not at all afraid of throwing his body around on 50-50 balls despite his small size.
No, he's not, and he likes his leaping ability. He's confident with it. So if you know he's going against a very big and athletic center back in Moses, he continues to challenge for those balls in the air.
Drew Becky has been particularly involved in the attack so far for Carolina. Now DeLuz. With DeLuz playing one center midfield spot and Becky the other, the ball's been on DeLuz's foot quite a bit more than Drew Becky. Now Cipollani on the run. Ruthven steps in front of him and clears it out. It'll be a throw for Carolina near the corner flag.
Yeah, it's good coverage there from Tyler Ruthven over Anthony Wallace's back. Remember, Anthony Wallace playing as a left fullback, as an attacking winger there, with their Armada having 3 defenders. So he's typically going to be a little bit in front of the back line, or the back line of 3. So anything that goes over his head and Brian Burke's head is responsibility of Tyler Ruthven and Carl Ouimet to pick up.
Got Wallace and George now, a winger and a
corner kick here
midfielder.
For Nigeria. Still just
Cipollani tries to go
by
around
a goal
Wallace
to nil. 2 minutes left.
And wins the corner.
They have
very tricky
the
player,
better of.
Cipollani.
Scored a goal against Jacksonville last October when these two sides
far
met.
Post.
Born in South Africa.
Header from Nielsen.
Came to the United States for college. Was a three-time NAIA All-American. 6 seasons now with the Carolina Railhawks.
Need to get players forward here.
They'll swing this one in on the corner. Lewis came out, got one hand to punch it away. Just didn't get enough of it to clear it out momentarily. And Bravo will play it all the way back for Akira Fitzgerald.
Lily. And players in front of him. Nigeria sitting very deep.
Well, the midfielders making a
touch on
serious
this run as well.
In this
Here's a real opportunity, and it's headed over the bar.
Not the least of which
what a chance for
Scaglia, who has been,
Ajdarevic.
to this point, the dominant player in the game for Jacksonville. But he's had some help for sure.
Everyone was expecting the shot here. It was a clever pullback. It was actually off the foot that time of Sincere. Sweden a whisker away from getting the equaliser.
Out wide now for Wallace again. Elandu tried to get ahead on
Sema to take the corner.
Black sends it out. Shriver tries to run onto it. Met got there first for Jacksonville. Final minute of regulation time here in the first half. Scaglia tried to lead on to Burke.
Nigeria will look to counter. Carolina. Second goal would surely secure the 3 points for them.
Good pressure from their Armada, not letting him come out.
Elandu
goes long
for Burke, centering it in. Kicked away by Moses. A lot of standing around by Carolina right now. Elandu tries to poke under the back
Sweden,
post.
But Ajdarevic is being forced backwards
by the Railhawks. Jacksonville will have a throw in the attacking end here as the final moments of the half approach.
Yeah, and a little more activity from their Armada players inside that box.
Kept in and is by Connect.
Had the second ball. Everyone kind of still waiting for the ball to feed.
Will do now, it feels, for Nigeria.
See Lucas Scaglia just continue to stay active in the game.
Here's Wallace. All the way back now. Maripu trying to wheel. Becky able to cut him out. We're hearing 2 minutes of stoppage time will be added. Beto Navarro keeps it in, but gave it away for Shipolani. Dangerous opportunity here. He's got Fondi on his left and Bravo on his right. Omar Bravo now. The former Mexican international facing up against one-time U.S. international Anthony Wallace. Now sent in.
Very good position.
Caught up in the traffic. Coming back out, it's Jacksonville. Maripu with it for the Armada.
Understandably so.
Anthony Wallace now for the Armada, changing fields on a long ball for Brian Burke. Burke coming forward. Goes around one man. Slides it through. Cut off as he tried to get it to Elandu. Scaglia working hard. Coming back for Jacksonville on defense.
Tankovic.
And little bang on Paul Black slows down the action in the final minute.
In the right place at the right time
here in Jacksonville in the first half. 1-1 the score.
Matt Fondi and Charles Elandu. Can they create another one though?
Scoring for Jacksonville.
Econ is able to win the second ball.
Between Lucas Scaglia, Brian Burke, and Charles Elandu, just getting those services into the box and getting your foot and some connection there has worked out really well for their Armada in the first half. You expect to see a whole lot more of that in the second.
Yeah, Maripu's played very much a supporting role. Scaglia has played a leading role for the Armada in the midfield. Here's one swung in. Met got there first to head it away. Kicked out by Kevon George. Kept in now by Carolina. Long blast. Blocked by the chest of Beto Navarro. Played out wide now to Paul Black.
An occasion from Omar.
The Englishman.
Nigeria have to pull back again.
And a misfire on a pass for Carolina. That will likely be the last opportunity for either side here in the first half. 1-1 the score. Sean Lewis able to make a couple of saves for Jacksonville. It was adventuresome for the Armada goalkeeper.
Maybe better taking that one to the corner
Charles Elandu getting his first for Jacksonville.
Get the ball forward.
Matt Fondi getting his first against his old team. It's his third of the year for his new squad, Carolina.
And go figure, Matt Fondi comes back here to Jacksonville.
Ishak is offside.
One away. Spent most of the spring season here with Jacksonville, really not finding the back of the net. First time back, scores a goal.
Wanting the ball, and he can see along the line.
Go figure.
Still final moments here. The past 2 minutes of stoppage time. Wallace out wide. Will the Armada have one last chance here to try to get the go-ahead goal before the half?
Good season last
Goes into the hands of Akira Fitzgerald, and that
a kill. Control. Tipping gets the foot in.
There is the final whistle.
Canate.
First half comes to an end. 1-1 the score. The Armada and Carolina Railhawks play an entertaining first half. Lots of opportunities for both sides. Both sides playing a rather aggressive style. And they're level at a goal apiece. Mauricio, your thoughts on the first half so far?
Very evenly matched first half. It's good to see the Armada coming back into the game. Typically, we talked about if they don't get ahead early
out of ideas and out of time here to get something from this one.
Back into it. Now it's
just need one last chance though.
45 minutes left to play.
Both sides scoring in the opening 20 minutes, including Matt Fondi scoring against his former side. Charles Alonso
and there
scoring
is the
for
full-time whistle. Nigeria make it 2 wins from 2. Relief on the face of Samson Saisai. But the Dream Team are at it again at another Olympics.
Let's take a look at the first half highlights.
It's been another dominant performance.
Look at.
The goal coming in the first half from Sigue Omar after 40 minutes. They easily could have had more, but for the fine goalkeeping of Lind in the Swedish goal.
Leaves Matt Fondi alone, and he finds it with his left foot.
1-0 after just 7 minutes of play. But it wasn't too much longer after that Sean Lewis was tested yet again by Carolina.
Need to win their last game. You would think if they are to progress in this one, it's just the 1 point from 2 games.
You see the turnover from Carl
Hakan Eriksson's team.
Sean Lewis had to come up big on that save.
Outplayed and outfought
in there waiting for the rebound.
Majority of this one.
Big save from Sean in between traffic on his back foot.
So it was 1-0 at that point, and in the 19th minute, the Armada would equalize. Really set things up beautifully. Lucas Scaglia with a fantastic feed in, and then Charles Alonso finishing for his first NASL goal.
And you can see this coming.
To challenge Nigeria.
Brian Burke, Lucas Scaglia operating on the right-hand side, and this time is Lucas Scaglia making a run. Ball into the box, and Charles Alonso just a tip of his toe over Fitzgerald to get the equalizer.
Alonso was very active in that first half and had a couple of opportunities running out top with the Armada utilizing his speed.
Yeah, especially over the top, and you can see him here going at players 1v1.
Defensive
looking for that
capabilities here against Sweden in this one.
Brought over to his left foot as well. He struck it, and Fitzgerald had to make a save. He just likes that 1v1 opportunity, especially when he's feeling good about himself. Gets his first career goal.
Armada and Carolina 1-1 at the break. Let's take a look at the first half stats.
Using fans themselves.
Armada had one extra shot and one more shot on goal.
Sweden 0.
Good passing by the Armada, 60 or 80% overall. Possession pretty even. This looks like a 1-1 game in terms of the stats.
Yeah, pretty even game. I think both teams were deserving of a goal. Probably not much more of that. Both keepers made reasonable difficult saves at one point, but second half should be pretty entertaining depending which mentality the coaches want to go. If they want to go, if Carolina wants to hold on to the tie, obviously the Armada, they want to get that W.
Armada looking to snap a 5-game losing skid, trying to get it done here at home. More to come at halftime with the Armada and Railhawks level at 1 at the break.
Now, Straight Talk Wireless has more high-speed data than ever before. We're talking double the data for just $10 more. That's 10 gigs of high-speed data to stream more video and more music, more whatever you want. All on America's largest and most dependable 4G LTE networks. Choose from 2 great plans. Our unlimited plan with 5 gigs of high-speed data, or double your data for just $10 more. Straight Talk Wireless.
In the spring, up in Cary, North Carolina.
We're really not getting the result, and you can see why, especially in sloppy goals, as he felt they gave away to Charles Alonso here in the Armada.
We're underway in the second half with the Armada trying to do something for the first time in their history, which is win a game in which they conceded first. Long ball played ahead, over the head of Anderson. Didn't get a good clean run on it, and it goes all the way back to Akira Fitzgerald. In the year and a half the Armada have been a club, Mauricio, they've never conceded first and then come from behind to win. They've conceded first and earned draws before, but never a win. Trying to do it here. They'll have to do what Colin Clark hinted that his team might need to do, score more goals in the second half.
Well, and there are a few teams in this league that they're Armada match up against, and you can tell that they're a confident team when they go up against them. And when you go out against Minnesota, even India in the stretch that they're in, New York Cosmos, tough teams. And if you can get a win off of those guys, it'll be great. But I think Coach Miola and his roster feel that Carolina Railhawks is a game that you should win, especially at home. So you got 45 minutes to do so.
What about some of the roster moves potentially in the second half? What kind of substitutions might we see the Armada go for?
Well, it'll be interesting to see how long can Brian Burke on the right-hand side and Anthony Wallace. A lot of work for those two wing back positions to get up and down. You know, can coach add some speed into the forward? Anderson's playing a lot of minutes, but really hasn't been as productive as probably coach will like. And depending if they, you know, the next 10 minutes of the game will change, will tell you a lot.
Burke heads out the corner by Shipolani, kept in though by Drew Becky, and he hits one way over the top. Goal kick for Jacksonville.
You see Pekka Lagerblom warming up on a sideline, probably a player that Coach Miller would like to get involved into the game. If they go up 2-1 here, maybe you see Kiva and George coming out, and Pekka's a little bit more possession-oriented player, allows Lucas Kaiba to sit in that hole. And really the next 10 to 15 minutes, whether there's a goal in between that, changes a lot of the game plan of the second half.
Lewis punches one forward. Ilandu with the chest, trying to get past Moses. Ilandu to the byline and wins the corner for Jacksonville.
I think the referee gave a goal kick there, last touch by Ilandu. Ilandu wasn't very happy about it.
But Charles thought he was able to knock it off the defender.
Sure looked like it. Moses just has great recovery speed, and he's keeping up with Ilandu really well.
One of the guys who has been steady for the Armada since he arrived was Nicholas Marapu. Amanda Borges has more on the Swedish midfielder who's made his presence known pretty quickly in Jacksonville.
The referee let it play on. Lucas Scaglia.
Scaglia sends it toward the goal. It goes over the top onto the roof of Kira Fitzgerald, but it was Burke who went down for Jacksonville a moment earlier.
Also, the referee actually called advantage on that play. He came back to yellow card one of it. Looks like it might be Austin. No, it can be Austin to lose. Paul Black gets the yellow card off of that counterattack from the Armada. It's a bit of an advantage. Referee came back and gave Paul the yellow card. Thought Lucas Scaglia could have done a little bit better on that. He got wide open right-hand side, take the ball, make a defender commit.
Here's Scaglia in midfield. Marapu kicks it ahead for his fellow Swede Anderson, but Fitzgerald came way off his line to grab it before Alex could get there.
Yeah, it seems like the mentality for the Armada right now is to get this back line for the Carolina exposed a little bit and get Anderson and Charles Orlando involved in the game, whether it's a direct over the top, waiting for that flick, or just putting the ball so they can run onto it. It's the chance that the Armada created in the first half are much more from a direct purpose after they connect to one or two passes.
Carolina on the attack. Scaglia with a slide tackle. Cleanly tackled away by Lucas. And the goal kick coming for the Armada. Carolina players wanting a yellow card, didn't even get a whistle.
No, it was very similar to the Kevon George yellow card in the first half. It was a clean tackle on the ball. Referee really didn't have a reason to call a foul here or give a yellow card. Not every tough tackle is a foul.
Here's Ilandu off the header from Alex Anderson. Ilandu, an inside move into the box. Ilandu, left-footed, scores! Second goal for Charles Ilandu, and the Armada are out in front.
And that's where Charles Orlando is so dangerous in wide open space inside the box. That's where you want him to be selfish, take players on, get those little cuts. And what an unbelievable finish by Charles Orlando, left-footed. You can see here, great cut on Daly, had no chance on it, and puts it away. Much tougher than he looks. The ball just bounces in and bounces out.
Charles Ilandu scored 4 goals in the preseason. He had had maybe 15 looks at the goal so far in the regular season, but couldn't get one on frame or with any sort of real chance. This time, maybe a little out of practice on the backflip.
Well, but he's got to work on his landing there.
Didn't stick the landing. That's not good on Olympic week, opening week.
An Olympic spirit. I don't know if he qualifies for the next phase for the Cameroon Olympic gymnastics team.
But the Armada up 2-1. They scored 2 on Wednesday night against Indy after going 452 minutes without a goal. One of those goals was an own goal. Nothing cheap about either of these for Charles Ilandu.
Well, you can see where Charles Orlando operates so much better when he's got a second forward to play off of. The attention is not only on himself. We've seen him, Coach Milo, use him out wide, and he sometimes doesn't really know what to do with that time and space. We've seen him be used as a lone forward, as a number 9. Really not his forte either. A lot of attention, 2 center backs on him. When you have him isolated with 1 center back, as you saw him there, much more profitable for Charles Orlando and for the Armada forwards.
This may be premature to even suggest, considering the Armada have had a lead here for all of a minute and a half in this game. But the way that this team is playing as far as the attack is concerned, did it just take this long for Tony Meola to find the right combination of players in formation? Here's a header in the box, went wide of Sean Lewis, and it'll be a goal kick for Jacksonville.
Yeah, and really is cool. I mean, this is the 6th shot on goal. The Armada have had more shots on goal than tonight, and just not finding the back of the net. I mean, how many opportunities have we seen Keita, Alex Dixon, and other players create exactly what Charles Orlando just did? The difference is Charles Orlando put him away tonight. And, you know, you're right. It's a little premature to call victory just yet. It's still a lot of game to be played. And you can just see on the Carolina attack there, anything can still happen, including getting more goals. But it's not, formation is great, lineups are great. Players got to execute their roles. And Charles Orlando inside the box just executed twice.
This one headed back into the hands of Akira Fitzgerald. The Armada haven't had a player score multiple goals in the same game all year. Battles for the header. Fondi now chested down for Carolina. Played out wide for Paul Black. Intercepted by Brian Burke. We'll see if Burke can get off on the run here. Burke to Alandu. Backing up to Maripu, and a little one-touch to Scaglia. Ahead. Anderson, can he get there? No. Fitzgerald lightning quick off the line.
Yeah, it's a great exchange there. Charles Orlando just holds up the play. Scaglia and Maripu. Scaglia should have taken that ball more into space, because once again, Anderson's not beating anybody by pace, so it's got to be to his feet, not really in front of him. Once again, much better from the Armada there, much better from Charles Orlando, then find an early pass.
Fondi had his legs taken out by Tyler Ruthven. Free kick coming for the Railhawks. Take another look here. There's Ruthven getting into his former teammate.
Referee having a little conversation there with Ruthven. Hopefully he won't give him a yellow card. It was just a foul. Really unnecessary. Matt Fondi was facing the sideline, not going anywhere. Now you allow Carolina Railhawks, Cipollone with a good server of the ball, put the ball into the mix here. Complicate Sean Lewis's life.
You can see that Tyler Ruthven is not particularly impressed with Neema Sagafi's points that he's making on that particular moment.
Well, he's making, again, a little bit about himself. He's making his big stops, having a conversation with the players.
Cipollone swinging one in, headed away by Kevon George, and then kicked out by Ouimet for Jacksonville.
A lot of times referees can be a little bit too much involved in a game. Call the foul is a good foul, a good call. Let it go.
Burke steps in front of this one for Jacksonville. Now Kevon George. Maripu, middle of the park. He's got Burke out wide. Burke slams one in. Battled for. Burke. Carolina comes away with it to lose. Armada up 2-1 after they trailed 1-0. Matt Fondi scoring 6 minutes in for Carolina. It's been all Armada since. Fondi had the ball taken away there by Ouimet, who came way forward. Now Fondi again swings one in. Wallace pokes it out, not too far away. Chased down by Paul Black. He's getting pressed by Alex Anderson, who wins the ball for Jacksonville. Anderson coming back the other way. He's got Alandu making a crossing run. Feeds it for Charles Alandu. Offside flag up on the Cameroonian.
Yeah, Paul Black wasn't happy. A bit of a pull there from Anderson. Referee let it go. Unfortunately, Charles Alandu just a little bit late on the pass. Charles making a good run.
See Alandu really aching for an opportunity at a hat trick. Very close to being onside.
I'll tell you what, there's a lot of time to be played, and I think at this point the Armada players are recognizing that Charles Orlando is effective in a space to start feeding them.
Pekka Lagerblom has taken off the bib. He may be coming in here shortly for Jacksonville. Be interesting to see where Pekka comes in for the Armada. Here's Cipollone into the box, side of the 6, and on the deflection he gets it in. The offside flag is up, however. Offside flag up on the near side, and the Carolina players can't believe it.
Yeah, when Cipollini put that into the box, when he came back to him, he was on the line. The ball hit off of his thigh and went in. Definitely an offside position.
Taking a look at it here.
So the ball's he's gonna serve it in. He's gonna come back to him. You see, there's nobody between him and Sean Lewis. Definitely offsides.
Yeah, Bravo knew that something was up, and he was just staying away from it.
But he didn't want to be the player to be called offsides. But when the ball comes back and hits Cipollini, he's on the line. He's even behind Sean Lewis there. You need two players behind you in order for you not to be offsides. He had zero.
Not much that can be done about that. And Nima Sigafi now continuing to hear it from Omar Bravo. He's having a conversation now with his AR over there. Brian Peschel and J. Benjamin Jackson III are the assistant referees.
And the Armada, if he holds on to this, to the call here of no goal of an offsides, you got to be careful not to give up anything. Coach Miller making a sub here early in the first half. Yep, he's going to uphold the offsides call.
We'll give credit to Sigafi to go over and have the conversation with his assistant referee.
Well, obviously, we have the element of the replay here. We have the benefit of the replay, and you can see as soon as the ball came back, Cipollini hit him and went inside. Definitely an offsides position.
Now Pekka Lagerblom will come in for Jacksonville. It'll be for Scaglia. It's looking like it. Scaglia asking, hey, put the number up. Let me know who's coming in. That may be about as much about letting a few more seconds tick off as
Absolutely.
anything. Here.
A fitness substitution for Scaglia here. Pekka coming in. Similar players, similar roles. Scaglia has a little bit more of a defensive bite to him. Pekka a little bit more of a possession style player. But wonder why he didn't go with Kevon George, being that Kevon's on a yellow card. But Kevon's such a big defensive presence in there, you know, holding things down. Wondering if Scaglia is fit to play 90 minutes just yet, or this was the plan the entire time.
It is an interesting maneuver. Quite honestly, you would think that if you're going to make a substitution here, you'd go more defensive-minded. Not always the case. Sometimes you want to continue taking the game to the opposition. Here's Bravo out wide for Carolina. Faced up against Anthony Wallace. Swings it in, and two hops into the midsection of John Lewis.
Well, this can still be a defensive substitution goal because Scaglia gets forward a whole lot, and he really opens up a lot of gaps, and Kevon George technically has to defend on his own. What I would expect here is that Pekka will just sit down with Kevon a little bit more, play side by side, and not really get forward as much by adding another player in front of the back line. It's a little bit more reserved, a little more disciplined player.
So kind of the point up midfield with George and Pekka playing a little bit further down, a little bit more defensive-minded, although that's not what is happening here. Here's Lagerblom, a little one-touch to Maripu, and a free kick coming up for Jacksonville.
When that was the case how the game started, you can see Scaglia always going deep to get the ball as well, but in the attack, he had the freedom to get forward. And you see, and Pekka will pick and choose his times that you see here in the interaction with Maripu to do that as well. He's not just going to sit the entire time, but a little bit more of a disciplined player to sit responsibly next to Kevon George.
Let's see who takes this one. This ordinarily would be a Meshach Jerome layup in terms of who would take it.
I would imagine here the Maripu will strike this on goal. It's within a reasonable distance. It's far enough where you can get the ball over the wall and dip down before Fitzgerald can get a hand on it.
Anthony Wallace also lining things up. Tony Miola saying that they go through these sorts of things in the week in practice to see who's hitting them the best. Wallace if it's a left-footed shot, Maripu if it's with the right. Here we go, Maripu sends it off the wall. They carry him straight up in the air. And goes out, and it'll be a corner for Jacksonville.
You can see he had the short two-step approach to it. He's trying to get ball over the wall into Fitzgerald right corner. Ball doesn't clear the wall, gets a little flick, and they earn a corner kick.
We're past the hour mark. The Armada a 1-0 lead thanks to Charles Alondu, who scored his first 2 goals of his Armada career in this one. Here's Maripu on the corner. We met. Ball free. Kicked out by Carolina. Kept in by Beto Navarro. Into the box. Now back out for Wallace. He'll lift one in the air. Headed by Navarro. Elandu gave some space. It'll be a throw in for Jacksonville.
Boy and Carl, we met at a couple opportunities there. Big center back coming forward, trying to get that ball to come down. You see on the replay, Maripu trying to get the ball to Fitzgerald's right corner. Doesn't quite get it over the wall.
We're going to keep a close eye on Pekka Lagerblom to see how he's playing here. He played as a starter a couple of games ago before the Armada went on the road, and said frankly that his fitness, his breath just wasn't what he expected it to be. He's always been well regarded for his fitness, but coming off an Achilles injury, didn't have any opportunity to really play in games. Here's Cipollani, step over move. Tries to go wide on Lagerblom. Now leaves it up top. George came in to kick it free for Jacksonville. Anderson will run onto it for the Armada. Leaves it ahead. Elandu on the run, trying to get out in front of Michael Daly. Daly able to body up against the smaller player and keep possession for Carolina. The one thing with Lagerblom, though, nobody has the kind of experience that he does on the Armada roster. Guy who won the Bundesliga, playing with Cologne, and played on the Finnish national team. Played in Germany for most of his professional career. Werder Bremen.
Well, that's why coach is comfortable making that sub so early in the second half with the lead. You know, he's not going to compromise anything. He's going to keep the game organized. He's going to keep in shape. We talked about identity and formation.
This one into the box, headed away by Tyler Ruthven. Then Maripu turns it forward. Wallace runs onto it for Jacksonville. Lost it on a nice play by Shriver. But it doesn't amount to anything for the Railhawks. Now Maripu settling it now for the 2-goal scorer, Charles Elandu. First to put 2 in the net since Keita did it against Tampa Bay last year. Elandu on the run, looking for his third, but Akira Fitzgerald right there.
And we've seen Elandu do that over and over again when he's playing the left wing position, bring it onto his right foot.
Errant pass, Kevon George stepped in front of it. Now here's Lagerblom.
You can see that's where Pekka Lagerblom, where he's at in his career and coming back from that injury, really struggles is that explosiveness, not just the breadth. That's something that he'll pick up with game time. See Charles Elandu just opening up a lot of time, a lot of space for a guy that just scored 2 goals for the Carolina to give him.
This one chipped ahead, headed away by Beto Navarro. Omar Bravo keeps it in. Drew Becky along the ground and wide.
And here's where Kevon George has got to be careful as those balls get played into the air. Is he going to go for that tackle? He's got to think twice before making a tough tackle, as he usually does. He's on that yellow card early in the game. You can't count out the Railhawks. Bravo gives the ball there to Becky on a turn. Really tough to make that save if it's on frame.
The 20. Who he subs in for. Here's Shriver playing it wide. All black coming forward. Cipollani. Bravo back to Cipollani. Burke came up and positioned himself perfectly. Now will Elandu try to exploit ahead for Wallace. Jumps over the sliding Stephen Miller. Ball free in the midfield, collected by Carolina.
Armada can't afford to get sloppy in their passings. They can't get too nonchalant, especially Charles Elandu. He's got a tendency to just get a little careless at times. Oh, good play here.
Along the ground, Miller able to keep his footing, kept the ball. Now Kevon George has it. He'll send it ahead for Jacksonville. Anderson on the run, cut off by one player. Fitzgerald way out of his box, saves it for Carolina.
To get his foot on it, just to tip it over, gets pulled down just a little bit, just enough to delay him.
Anderson again for Jacksonville. Changing fields. Wallace will run onto it for the Armada. 66th minute in Jacksonville. Armada up 1-0, or rather 2-1, after being down 1-0 early. There's Wallace. Ruthven. Now Lagerblom. With Fondi coming right up behind him. Those were the 2 biggest signings in the offseason for the Armada, Fondi and Lagerblom, and now they're on opposite sides. Here's Lagerblom, a lot of room in the middle of the park. Top of the D, Lagerblom. Last one sent back for Carolina. Now Shipolani will come on the counter. The stadium really rose with excitement as Lagerblom wound up on that one. Shipolani, top of the D, tries to slide one through. And he misfires. Lewis will track it down for Jacksonville.
Well, I think everyone's been following the path, the recovery path for Pekka Lagerblom when he got his Achilles. I think this crowd saw him a little bit early in preseason, how effective he was. He's really been sitting out for a good 5-6 months now. So when he gets an opportunity to come onto the field, to see he got a huge applause when he stood up to be a sub. And now he gets an opportunity to take one from range as a center midfield player. I'm sure he is salivating over his opportunities right now.
I know not everybody's had the opportunity to meet Pekka Lagerblom, but you will not find a nicer gentleman in soccer. Just an absolute class act all the way. Now here he is, number 8, Pekka Lagerblom, slides it for Anderson. Back to Pekka. Lagerblom in the box. Back to Anderson. The Swede sends it on the ground, and Fitzgerald covers it for Carolina.
And you're starting to see resemblances of what Coach Miller wants his team to look like. Be up, create some opportunities 1-if-1 with some forwards, and then control the game by possession. Kill the game with possession a little bit. Make sure you still organize defensively, making good decisions, as Sean Lewis is doing here. Not to play with the ball around the back. And just stay nice and compact to be very difficult to beat.
What does it tell you about this group of guys that they've lost 5 straight? They didn't score a goal for 4 games plus, and here they are out here playing like this.
Well, I think they look at each other and they recognize the kind of talent, the kind of attitude that this team has. It's just a matter of getting those things working in the right direction for you.
Out wide now. Here's Miller sending it in. Top of the box. Headed in by Omar Bravo. And we're level at 2 in the 68th minute.
And so we talked about it's never too early. It's sometimes a little too early to call, to celebrate for it. Omar Bravo, the kind of players that Carolina Royalhawks have, they're always in the game. Early ball gets out wide. Miller puts it in. Omar Bravo just beats Carl Wiemet. Powers him through. Really nothing Sean Lewis can do to make that save.
Bravo now with a goal and an assist in this one for Carolina.
Anyway, that's how the game of soccer is. You know, you still have over 20 minutes to play. Yes, you're up 2-1, but 2-1 is not a comfortable lead just yet. And you're playing possession. You're moving the ball around, and it looks really good. You get a couple opportunities.
The irony is that Jonathan Orlando had the bib off, and he was going to check in for Omar Bravo, but the ball never stopped. They never had a chance to sub him in.
And he's putting the bib back on.
Yeah, might as well at this point, right? Orlando, young legs. Bravo certainly not that, but he has been effective in this one for Carolina.
Well, you never take off the goal scorer.
Here comes Anthony Wallace looking for some space. Tried to get by Miller. Now Michael Daly will send it ahead. Kept in by Kevon George. 70th minute in Jacksonville. It has been a highly entertaining contest between the Armada and Carolina Railhawks. These two sides played a 0-0 game in the spring. That was a pretty entertaining game. A lot of chances. Great goalkeeping in that one.
Especially for Fitzgerald, keeping a lot of balls out of the net.
And maybe the best save all night, though, was made by Miguel Gallardo on a corner, you might recall. But since then, it's been a different story here. And Kevon George had his legs taken out. Austin Deleuze has just gotten his second yellow card, and the Armada are going to be at a man advantage the rest of the way.
Yeah, and you see how referees make an impact in the game. Not really sure what Austin Deleuze said early in that water break in the first half. But if you remember, Cole, that's where he got his yellow card. It wasn't by anything that happened within the play. And you see there going in for a late, just gets there a little bit late. Kevon gets to the ball before. Austin Deleuze knows right away that's a yellow card. Comes studs up through Kevon George. If he connects, that's a straight red. No need. He already had on the yellow just because of dissent or earlier complaint on the water break. And he's out of the game.
So this will change things pretty dramatically. Austin Deleuze, second yellow. It's a red card, and he's sent off. So for the final 20 minutes, the Armada will be a man up. And they'll take the water break here, it appears. They're going to take one at the 75th minute. Kevon George is up. He was down for a moment. Not sure if Kevon took the worst of it there, or if he was just trying to gather himself, give himself a moment of rest.
Yeah, it was a tough takedown. Not really much contact, but just the way Austin Deleuze came through Kevon and just swung on his back leg, especially because Kevon was making a pass at that exact same time.
Now a substitution is Bravo will come off. Matt Watson will come on. The Englishman who can play in the midfield. His second stint with Carolina. He'll come on. Omar Bravo comes off. And you would expect a 4-4-1 here with Fondy up top the rest of the way, with Watson replacing Deleuze in the midfield.
Yeah, we see Matt Watson play before in that holding midfield role, a little bit higher up at times. So you expect that to happen. Matt Fondy just as a point man on the 4-4-1. And Watson just staying right next to Becky, keeping those two lines of four as compact as possible. 20 minutes for Carolina Roadhawks to hold on to this tie here, and 20 minutes for the Armada to try to get a go-ahead goal, that third goal that they've so been seeking this season.
Here's Bento Navarro. See how the Armada play with the advantage here. They've played with the man down very well for an extended period of time. Now here's Burke into the box and run off the ball that time by Watson, who got his first flavor of things early on.
Good link-up play Burke with Anderson. Burke couldn't complete the play there, but nice look into Anderson. Good movement from him.
Second time this season, the Armada will be up a man. The last time, you might recall, was against the Strikers back in April. They've been on the other end of it as well. Red cards have been the order of the day of late for Jacksonville, really in the fall season especially. Amanda Borges, one of the guys the Armada don't have to choose from today, is not available thanks to a red card last time out.
That's right, Cole. Keita received a red card late in the game on Wednesday when he slapped an Indy defender in the head. Keita was brought to the ground, and both players got red cards and then were then suspended for the next game, which is this game for the Armada. So the Armada are without Keita tonight. So even though there's two on the board, they could really use a guy who was their leading goal scorer last year.
No doubt about it. And interesting the rest of the way here in terms of what Tony Meola might do, Mauricio, with his roster, with his players. He's got some guys who can certainly go forward, like Jamal Johnson, Pascal Million, Danny Barrow to utilize. Patrick Otter's on the bench, so is Meshach Jerome. So there are some options out there.
Yeah, and you talk about Jamal Johnson, Patrick Otter, they can both be used on that outside position.
Corner by Carolina goes high over the head of Fondy, who's checked there by Tyler Ruthven. Fondy backing up into the corner. Carolina happy with possession, but would love to get a goal with a man disadvantaged.
When they almost had that chance with that Matt Watson shot from distance that deflected and went out for a corner kick. That's definitely something the Armada does not want to put themselves into. Up a goal, up a man. Now Carolina ties the game, and you definitely don't want to get out of here in the last 17, 18 minutes down. Close up shots, any shots from distance, crosses.
There's Lagerbloom. Clear it out for Jacksonville. Kept in by Carolina. Watson plays it wide. Watson has played some indoor soccer and in fact was on a championship winning team, won 2 MISL championships with the Baltimore Blast. He's playing on a much larger field now. Wings one into the box over the head of Wallace, chested down by Fondy. Side of the box. Fondy gets it back for Miller. The Armada players have seen these moves in practice, particularly Lagerbloom, who's been here all the while along with Fondy. I mentioned that Fondy and Lagerbloom, the two biggest signings, probably should include Richie Ryan in that combination. Absolutely, as well, yeah. Who was sold off to Miami.
Seems like ages ago now.
Those three were the key signings, only one of them playing for the Armada, and now finally Lagerbloom playing for the Armada. Here is Ilandu. With Maripu in front of him, plays it wide for Burke. Burke looks to serve it in, gets it to Alex Anderson. Anderson, a little heavy touch. Burke comes to it, being bodied up by Paul Black, and loses possession. Now Burke is at his best when he's on the move going forward to serve it in. In the tight spaces, he's not necessarily at his very best as an attacking player.
Well, he's got good long strides, so when he's moving and he gets room to build up, he's great.
Here's Shipolani to Fondy. Edge of the box, sends it back, chipped in and across. Sent away by Anthony Wallace. Now Watson onto it. Final 15 minutes of this one. Wallace with the slide, boots it away. Maripu battling with Watson. Matt Watson sends it wide. Paul Black now to Shipolani. Sent away by Beto Navarro. Anderson posting up in midfield's got it. Now Kevon George knocked it off the referee. Pekka Lagerblom comes back to get it for Jacksonville. Now wide for Burke. Burke loping forward for Jacksonville. Burke puts on the Jets, tries to get to the byline. Black was there. There'll be a throw in for the Armada near the corner flag. And another substitution going to be made for Jacksonville. Danny Barrow going to come on. Now they just put up Jonathan Orlando for Shipolani. If Barrow, both 20s were standing there. Yep. And no substitution has yet been made. Colin Clark pulled Orlando back. Barrow now waiting to go in. There is no number 11 for the Armada to come out. That'd be Jamal Johnson. So it looks like Burke's coming off. So it'll be Barrow coming in for Brian Burke.
It seems like Coach Mill is pushing Carl Ouimet to the right-hand side for Brian Burke. Maybe playing more true 4-3-3. 4-5-1 possibly with Anderson up top and Charles Alonso on the left and Danny Barrow on the right-hand side.
Well, here in the 78th minute, Danny Barrow debuts in this game. He had a tremendous. Didn't get a goal or an assist, but really had his presence felt in that game. His dribbling was getting a lot of attention for the way he worked through Carolina. Now it's a great opportunity for his explosive young legs to come in against some tired legs for Carolina.
Yeah, and that's where you want him to shine. It's in these moments, because he does create individual moments of brilliance in the content of the game. And for 90 minutes, he gives up a whole lot of defensive responsibilities as well, which is why I'm sure why Coach Mill hasn't used him a whole lot. As a young player, very talented player, but in the last 20 minutes of the game is when he should be coming on and really making a difference.
Jonathan Orlando has come on for Brian Shriver for Carolina. So that's the third substitution made. Beg your pardon, second substitution made.
And it seems like the Armada doing exactly that. Anderson staying as a high player. Carl Ouimet rotating to the right, back position from Brian Burke. And is looking like a 4-5-1 with Danny Barrow and Charles Alonso out wide.
Here's Alonso, who scored the 2 goals for the Armada. Sends it in, and too much on it. Akira Fitzgerald up to grab it for Carolina. So with Bravo going off, Carolina gives the armband to the goalkeeper, Akira Fitzgerald. Carolina again playing with 10 men after Austin Deleuze picked up his second yellow card of the game. That came in the 70th minute. Headed back by Navarro. Run on to by Ouimet, who will keep it in for Jacksonville. You can vote for the Armada Farah and Farah man of the match. Go on Twitter to see the candidates. You can vote right there on Twitter at Jax Armada FC is the Twitter handle. One guy who's not in the game anymore, Lucas Scaglia, probably worthy of some consideration.
Yeah. In his time there, I thought he was one of the most effective players for the team for sure.
Charles Alonso scoring 2 goals. That'll get some votes for sure. Here is Shipolani down to the byline, pulling it back out. Carolina going to be very deliberate with their actions here, playing a man down and level on the road. I think they would begrudgingly accept this result if it were to stay 2-2.
Oh, absolutely. Scoring some goals. Coach Clark talked about not scoring a whole lot of goals on a road trip.
Here's Orlando putting one in, sent out by Ruthven. And the Armada counter. Maripu wide now for Ilandu. Final 10 minutes regulation time for Jacksonville to score a goal here at home and earn their third victory of the season. Ouimet Changing fields for Ilandu. He settles it down. Charles Ilandu cuts it to the inside. Ilandu has 2 goals already. That one was blocked. Lagerbloom didn't get a good foot on it. Sort of short hopped up on him. And it's covered by Akira Fitzgerald.
And you can see Charles Ilandu just wants to get the ball in space and go at players. Trying to get that shot off now. We talked about not being a one-trick pony. So maybe when he winds up for that shot, put Anderson in, making a good run into the box. So now players have to respect the fact that you are a passer and also a dribbler, also a shooter, but then it's always putting the ball on your right hand foot, on your right foot, and try to shoot. They eventually come around and let you have what you think you want, and they take it away.
Another Carolina player is taking the bib off on the sideline as Anderson gets it to Pekka Lagerblom. Wide now for Danny Barrow. Let's see if Barrow can create something here. The young Welshman on the left foot gets it to Lagerblom. Feeds it wide for Ouimet. Ouimet sends it across the top of the 18. Nobody there but white shirts. Carolina back the other way. But Marvin Ceballos about ready to come on to the next opportunity. Last year, playing for Indy 11, Ceballos scored 2 goals. One against Carolina, the team he now plays for, the other against Jacksonville.
His track record with his 2 teams is good. I'm sure Coach Clark was going to be looking for him to create something here.
Out wide for Ilandu. Anthony Wallace. Carolina playing a 4-4-1 here. A man down, Fondy the guy at the top. Everybody else settling into a pretty narrow band of 2 lines.
You can see Carolina just sitting in, allowing their Armada to have possession of the ball in their back line, making it very difficult for them to penetrate.
Beto Navarro plays one ahead, headed high, collected by Barrow. Little heavy on the touch there, didn't control it well. Carolina grabs possession. Folks here at Community First Park certainly enjoying this one, and they'll have a chance to again in 10 days' time when the Armada are back here to face Fort Lauderdale and Amanda Borges. There's even more reason to come out to Community First Park on the 17th.
That's right, Cole. Next for the Armada, they head to face Ottawa on the road. That's next Saturday. And then after that, they're back at home for a special Wet Your Whistle Wednesday night matchup against Fort Lauderdale. So make sure you come out Wednesday, August 17th, and every Wednesday home match for dollar beers.
That's for fans, not broadcast.
Not up here?
Mercy, I'm sorry.
We get free beer up here.
I'll have to talk to your guy then. I'm not sure.
We'll talk to your guy, have your guy talk to my guy.
Yeah, have your people call my people, and then we'll have Amanda's people clear it. Here's Marvin Ceballos coming in, and T. Shipolani sitting down. Very active today, Shipolani. Did not have a goal or an assist, but as you mentioned, he's the guy who sets up the guys who set up the guys.
He does, yeah. He creates a lot of opportunities, and he wears you down. Obviously, going down a player here, they have to get a little more defensive to try to get out of here with a tie.
Ilandu drawing a lot of attention along the side for Jacksonville. Now here's Pekka Lagerblom. He'll try to conduct the orchestra from out high. Barrow lifts one. Lagerblom making a run. Didn't get to him. Carolina now trying to come back out. Here's Drew Becky. Cut off nicely by Beto Navarro, and look at the work by Lagerblom coming back on defense. Now Danny Barrow on the run for Jacksonville. Barrow, a little in and out move. Barrow into the box, slides one right. Anderson crosses, didn't get all the way through. Sent out now by Carolina. Ceballos runs to it for the Railhawks.
And somehow Danny Barrow was able to keep that ball in front of him. He danced, he shifted a little bit, he came back around, and Anderson just couldn't get that cross past the first defender.
Anderson whistled for the foul as he tried to sneak past Ceballos that time. 5 minutes regulation time remaining. There will be some stoppage time you would expect. The Armada and Carolina level at 2. Carolina a man down after Austin Deleuze picked up 2 yellow cards, the second coming in the 70th minute. Out wide for Stephen Miller. Carolina starting to send some bodies forward here.
And the Armada can afford to press high a little bit. They have a player advantage. They shouldn't let Carolina to possess the ball and move it around as much as they're doing.
One headed forward by Beto Navarro to Lagerblom. Will send it back into the box where Ruthven will run back to it. Tony Meola said this week, we think that we should be better than we are goals and record-wise, but we are where we are. we're in this position, but there's only one group that can get us out of it, and that's us.
Absolutely.
And this group is trying to get the Armada out of it here as Tony Miola looks on from the side. Here's Beto Navarro. Anderson. Danny Barrow. Wheeling in. Anderson again. Out wide. Ouimet. Tries to center one in. Maripou is there with a header. But it's cleared out by Carolina.
Maripou's trying to set up the header back to Anderson.
Lagerbloom working. Wins the ball back for Jacksonville. Ouimet. 3.5 minutes remaining in regulation time. Danny Barrow tried to lift it ahead, but Alonso was not on the same page. We asked if Carolina would be pleased with the result at this point. Will the Armada be pleased with the result at this point?
I don't think so. I think they'll be pleased with their performance, which is well improved from Wednesday playing the same system. Players understood each other a little bit more, but certainly not pleased, especially being up and giving up that late goal to Omar Bravo, and then now being up a man and really not getting too many. Fitzpatrick really hasn't made a save since the Armada has been up a man. Obviously, Carolina's made it really difficult to set in a 4-4-1. From the result standpoint.
This one sent high across the box. Pascal Million has taken his bib off, and he's hoping to be able to sub in here in the dying minutes of this one. Sent ahead by Carolina, kept in by Kevon George. Now out wide for Wallace. Wallace looking for some space. Now Pekka. And he tried to get it to Maripou, and Watson stepped right in front of it for Carolina. Fondy back the other way. He scored the first goal for Carolina. Out wide for Ceballos. Spins around Beto Navarro. Marvin Ceballos intercepted by Tyler Ruffin. Ruffin was right on the spot, read that thing perfectly the whole way.
Yeah, and Pecco's trying to combine on top of the box with Maripou, a little give and go, trying to set up a shot, free up some space. Him and Maripou just not quite on the same page just yet.
Barrow trying to step inside Ceballos. Barrow came back to it, kept possession. Delayed whistle. And all the while, Pascal Million waits on the side to check in. Into the box, Maripou rises, can't get high enough to get it ahead of Michael Daly. Then Lagerbloom is backed into by Watson, and Pekka called for the foul as Pascal Million will check in here in the 89th minute. Talk about a last-second substitution. He'll come in, and Kevon George will come off. George making the start today after having been relegated to the side for the last couple of contests. Million comes in here, and you're looking for instant offense from Pascal.
Well, that answers your question whether they'd be happy with this tie or not, and with their performance. Obviously, Coach Miola wants to get the win here. He's taking off the holding midfield and putting an extra player, more attacking oriented. Pascal will sit in as more of like an attack commit next to Maripou, as he's played before. But trying to get that spark.
How tough is it for Pascal to try to get warm and into the game here? He's basically going to be able to play a minute and then stoppage time.
Yeah, he just needs one opportunity. He's got to get into it as quickly as he can.
Here's Beto Navarro. Again, for the last 20 minutes, Carolina's been playing a man down, and they've done a nice job defensively against Jacksonville. They've had some chances, but they've been sturdy enough. Navarro nearly gave it away. Ouimet came for it. Lagerbloom sends it back. Here's Ruffin. The Armada now will start bringing bodies forward. We're into stoppage time. Here's Maripou. Lagerbloom. Danny Barrow. Barrow from distance. It banged off his teammate Pascal Million. Barrow got back to it. Now here's Pascal. The Haitian national slides one to the right for Ouimet. Into the box. Elandu tried for a hat trick. Couldn't quite get to it.
Oh, it's a great. Finally, Carl Ouimet gets a good cross into the box. Probably a little bit higher than you would like, but nonetheless, a good cross into the box. He just really couldn't find Charles Orlando coming in. A lot of players crashing into the box. And just a nice one little touch there for Miller takes it away from Charles Orlando.
So it'll be a corner kick for Jacksonville. 4-minute stoppage time being added here at the end. So here's Maripu checking into the top of the 6th. Chased down now by Ouimet. Here's Pascal Million. Ilandu again was the target. Set out by Carolina. And Ilandu whistled for the foul.
Yeah, well, good cross from Pascal Million once again. And Charles Ilandu just a little bit overzealous, a little bit aggressive. And Paul Black is going to go ahead and take as much of his time as he wants. You see there, good cross, Charles from Pascal.
You would expect a ball like that, Anderson might be the target with his height, but instead it was the shorter forward, Charles Ilandu.
Yeah, and Anderson typically just pulls off. I'm not sure if he in the air is one of his strengths or not. I think he wants that ball to come back out and get the rebound and the second phase ball. Charles Ilandu, he always goes in there. He always gets in the mix, tries to get one of those headers.
Orlando able to keep it in for Carolina. We're 2 minutes into stoppage time of at least 4. Million able to force the turnover. Now Barrow, he's got Million in front of him. Anderson on his right. Little 1-2 for Million. Back to Barrow with Ilandu on the left. And Barrow was trying to find Ilandu for what could have been the winning goal.
Yeah, and if he connects, there's a great combination with Pascal through the middle. And if he connects, receives that back, Charles Ilandu is in a wide open lane.
This one played in now.
See that on the replay. Charles Ilandu, Danny Barrow's touch just a little heavy. He wanted to commit that defender. Paul Black does a good job of recovering in space. Really left Charles Ilandu wide open.
A corner kick for Jacksonville. Well, Barrow has made a difference since coming in. Million will take the corner. Tried to get it, headed by Beto Navarro. Now battling for it is Tyler Ruthven. Wallace coming onto it. A blast from Anthony Wallace, just sailed over the top of the bar.
And I typically would say just put the ball back in the mix. Don't try to shot from distance there. But Anthony Wallace is about as fair as he could. But you really want to put a foot on the ball. And you see how many Armada players are in the box. And that's a very fair shot. Just sails over the bar just a little bit.
You can see the look on Akira Fitzgerald's face. Relief and fatigue.
I don't think anybody expected Anthony Wallace to strike from distance. The ball going away from him a little bit. With so many numbers into the box. Maybe he wants to put his foot on the ball. And very brave of him to take that shot.
Now a long ball played toward Fondy, who heads it away. It'll be a throw for Jacksonville. At least 30 seconds remaining here in stoppage time. Remember, it's a minimum of 4 minutes. Not exactly 4 minutes of stoppage time. Wallace gets it in for Maripu. Back to Wallace. Armada have to go pretty quickly here. Probably one more chance to get off what could be the winning shot. Lagerblom wide for Danny Barrow. Barrow, Pascal Million. Million wheeling. And kicked away.
And Pascal trying to create something there. A lot of players, a lot of Carolina players inside. You got to keep that ball moving, trying to get into the box as quickly as you can.
Diagonal ball played to Orlando. Taken away by Barrow. Now Lagerblom. How long will they let it go? Colin Clark's over on the side, calling for the game to end, and there's the whistle. The Armada come back from a 1-0 deficit to take a 2-1 lead. But Omar Bravo's 68th minute goal leads to a 2-2.
1-0 deficit, 7 minutes into the game. A little disappointing to be down early in the game. Matt Fondy gets his first goal in Jacksonville. Team comes back. Charles Ilandu does a great job, gets his first career goal and follows up by a second career goal. And Armada at the very end just couldn't hold off. Mexican international with a lot of goals in international play. La Liga player puts it away, makes it a 2-2 game.
Omar Bravo with the goal and an assist. Charles Ilandu with 2 goals for Jacksonville. Matt Fondy scoring against his former team. A very entertaining night of soccer. Performance-wise, pretty good for the Armada, but as Tyler Ruthven told us on the radio show a couple weeks ago, it's results now. Performance doesn't matter anymore. At this point of the season, it's about results. They get a point at home, so there's something to be said for it. They snap a 5-game losing skid, but they really would have liked to win.
Boy, now it's 2 games. You've got 2 goals, so from a scoring opportunity, things seem to be a little bit better. But that 3-5-2 is still leaving a lot of gaps in the back. Much better today than obviously on Wednesday, but certainly not exactly where the team wants to be. You see Pekka Lagerblom talking to Tony Miola there as some good positive minutes. You definitely saw there in the second half the kind of influence that Pekka Lagerblom can have on this team.
Well, there is reason to smile around the park tonight, and maybe half smiles. That's what a 2-2 draw will do for you. The Signature Smile Smile Cam got some of these fans enjoying Community First Park and the matchup between the Armada and Carolina Railhawks. Our post-match coverage is straight ahead after the Armada and Railhawks battle to a 2-2 draw.
I work as a professional mountain guide, and the Surface Pro 4 allows me to actually operate my business from Everest. I help clients achieve their dreams. Being able to go between having a laptop and having a tablet is really important to me. I couldn't do that with my Mac. I love that we as humans can go to the top of the world. It's the durability, the reliability, it's incredible.
We certainly are lucky because our in-laws moved in with us.
So great. Those are moms.
Yes, they are.
And our adult children are being savvy with rent, so they're here too.
Mom, we're out of peanut butter.
We tried the bargain detergent, but we had to use twice as much.
So we switched to Tide.
Now we get 3 generations of clothes cleaned in one wash.
Does anybody see my pants? I found them, Ellen!
Put those on, Dad.
Lasts up to 2 times longer. Tide, #1 rated.
Don't you dare follow your dreams. Think big.